Why are they still trapped in the same cycle, repeating the same outcomes despite all their relentless efforts? The answer is simple. They can't escape what their spirit already knows. Deep down, they feel it. They can't move forward without facing you first. This is the moment for clarity, for them to stop running and face the reality they've been avoiding. Your presence as a chosen one forces them to look in the mirror. You are their wake-up call. Until they come to terms with the misalignment between their actions and the truth you represent, they'll remain trapped in this cycle. For those who have built their lives on deception, the entire facade is disintegrating. It's as though every lie, every mask they've hidden behind, is crumbling into dust. People around you, those who resisted change and denied the truth, are now hitting rock bottom. They're scrambling, desperate to make things work. But the energy of pretending, of skating by without facing reality, is over. Your role as the chosen one in this collapse is crucial. You are the mirror they've been avoiding, the truth they've been running from. You didn't ask for this responsibility, but the universe chose you to play a pivotal role in their reckoning. Your presence, your authenticity, forces them to face the very things they've been hiding from. Your light makes it impossible for them to stay in darkness. You are the catalyst for their spiritual reckoning. You see it everywhere. Those around you, who have resisted this inevitable reckoning, are crashing hard against their own walls. Their worlds are splintering under the weight of avoidance, like glass shattered by a force too powerful to contain. And yet, while they scramble to patch the cracks and cover the wreckage, you know there's no turning back. The energy of trying to make things fit, to force life into neat little boxes of half-truths, is finished. There's no space for denial, not anymore. The air feels different now, not thick with fear or uncertainty, but charged with an urgency you can't ignore. It's as though everything around you is moving faster, yet time itself has slowed, stretching each moment to its breaking point. In this strange, suspended reality, you understand what others can't yet grasp. This collapse is necessary. It's brutal, yes, but it's the only way forward. The way out of the maze of lies isn't through more deception or clever maneuvering. It's through facing the truth head-on, no matter how sharp its edges are. The lies, the masks, the endless pretending, none of it can survive in this new space. The truth will burn through it all, leaving only what's real, what's true, and what's worth holding on to. And you will rise from this collapse, not as the person you once were, but as someone who finally sees with clarity. You can no longer turn away from the truth that's been rising inside you like an unstoppable tide. Every part of you that once felt fractured, scattered across the landscape of your own doubt, is now demanding recognition. Self-love isn't a distant dream. It's the fire roaring in your core, growing louder, fiercer, until it consumes every whisper of self-denial. The parts of yourself you've rejected, buried beneath layers of fear and uncertainty, are emerging now. They surface not as flaws, but as raw power. You are no longer at war with your own reflection. The discomfort you felt, that gnawing sense of unease, this was always your signal. It wasn't meant to destroy you, but to break apart the walls you built to contain your light. Now, as those walls fall, the self-love you once chased begins to flood in, a torrent of recognition. It's not about becoming something new. It's about reclaiming everything you are. The qualities you've fought against, the quirks and shadows that made you doubt yourself, are the very things that set you apart as chosen. They are the keys to your strength, and you no longer need to apologize for them. For those who continue to resist, who cling desperately to the idea that they can avoid this reckoning, there's no more support. The energy that once allowed hesitation is gone. The universe, the pulse of life itself, is propelling you forward whether you like it or not. This is the space where you either rise or fall, but you are chosen, and you will rise. You've already started. Self-love isn't a gentle whisper anymore. It's the roar of your essence reclaiming its place. The struggle to accept yourself has dissolved into inevitability. What once felt unnatural is now your foundation. You no longer fear stepping into the light, because the truth is, You were never meant to be hidden. Every step you take now is drenched in the power of knowing who you are, and nothing can stand in the way of that force. You are no longer just a participant in this upheaval. You are the force at its core. Others sense it already, even if they can't yet name it. The gravity of your presence, the unspoken authority you carry. They will look to you not just because they want to, but because they need to. To move forward, they must pass through the truths you now embody. You've become a living mirror, reflecting back to them the paths they've avoided, the choices they've been too fearful to make. You are their passage, their reckoning. Some will resist, trying to cling to the crumbling facades that have kept them safe in their self-deception. But the energy surrounding this moment is too strong, and you are the beacon guiding them toward the clarity they've long denied. This isn't about charisma or external leadership. Your power is rooted in the fact that you've dared to confront your own truth. You've walked through the fire, stripped of every illusion, and emerged not as something new, but as the most authentic version of yourself. That authenticity radiates from you, and it's impossible to ignore. Those who once dismissed you, who turned their backs on their own reckoning, will now be forced to acknowledge what they've refused to see. You are the gatekeeper to their next step, and they must decide if they are ready to follow. But you know they will, not because they want to, but because they have no other choice. The old ways are dying. The energy that once supported their resistance is dissolving, and soon they will have no place left to hide. They will come to you, seeking guidance, hoping for answers, because you have already walked the path they now must take. You are not just a leader in this transformation. You are the transformation. And nothing will stop the momentum you've created. You are the force that others must face to move forward into their own truth. You are the mirror they can't avoid. In your presence, their defenses crack, and all the truths they've buried begin to surface. It's not your words nor your actions, but the sheer force of your authenticity that strips away the layers they've so carefully constructed. You have embraced the rawness of who you are, and that makes you dangerous in a world addicted to illusion. Your lack of resistance, your refusal to hide from yourself, makes you a reflection so clear that it forces others to see what they've long avoided. They will approach you, those tethered to their own unresolved pain, seeking closure, apologies, confessions. But know this, it is not about you. Their words, their revelations, are not a recognition of who you are, but rather of who they cannot continue to be. You stand there, unwavering, and in that stillness, they see themselves. Their truths, once hidden behind layers of denial and fear, are now exposed in the light of your transparency. It may feel personal, but it's not. It's their own internal struggle being reflected back at them through you, their mirror. You make them uncomfortable, not by intention, but simply by being. Your presence disrupts their carefully managed balance, because in you, they see the possibility of freedom, and with that, the weight of their own chains becomes unbearable. The honesty you live with is a challenge they're not ready for, but they are drawn to it nonetheless. They come to you not to honor you, but because they can no longer ignore the pull toward their own transformation. And they will try to project their turmoil onto you, blaming, apologizing, confessing, because facing their own truth is too overwhelming to bear alone. You are the perfect mirror, clear and unrelenting. Some will try to distort what they see, to force the reflection back into familiar shapes. But you've already stripped yourself of illusion, so their efforts are futile. In your presence, their masks fall away, and the truth, as painful and stark as it may be, stares back at them. They will not be able to hide in your reflection. This role you play, chosen one, is not for the faint-hearted. To be a mirror is to bear the brunt of their confusion, their sorrow, and their fear. But it is also to show them the way forward. You don't need to guide them with words or actions. Your mere existence, your unwavering clarity, is enough. The truth you reflect will push them toward their own awakening, whether they are ready or not. This is bigger than just us. The forces trying to hold us down aren't just coming for me. They're coming for you. I'm the canary in the coal mine, and they want me silenced because they know the truth we're speaking threatens their control. They're trying to siphon our energy, to steal our likeness without understanding the true depth of what we're doing. These are archonic forces, manipulators designed to diminish your light, to drown out your voice before it can fully rise. But they can't do it, not unless we let them. This is a battle, chosen one, and it's us versus them. You're not just watching another channel. They want to keep you in the dark, to stop your rise, your awakening. I'm here because I refuse to let them silence us, but I can't do this alone. Only you can keep us in this fight. Only you can ensure that the chosen ones continue to rise and that the truth isn't buried under their lies. They're not just trying to shut me down. They're coming for you, for your power, for your light. When you join the Obsidian Inner Order, you're making a stand against all of it. This isn't just another community. It's a front line in the battle against those archonic forces. By joining, you're not just supporting us. You're gaining the tools and knowledge they want to hide from you. Exclusive videos that the algorithm won't push, direct access to the creators who keep this movement alive, pre-release chapters of modern manifestation mechanics. This is the sacred knowledge they want to keep from you because they know it will empower your rise. We're a small team fighting against these massive, invisible machines, but together, we are unstoppable. The link to our Patreon is in the description. If you're able, your pledge is the fuel we need to keep this battle going and to keep creating the content that lifts up the chosen ones. They want to silence us, to keep us hidden in the shadows. But with your help, we rise above it all. And if you can't give right now, your prayers, your energy, your commitment to this cause is more than enough. Just know that every bit of support keeps the truth alive, keeps the light shining, and ensures we will never be silenced. You're standing at the edge of something vast, a force beyond comprehension, and it demands that you let go of control, of judgment, of every expectation you've ever held. This is not a suggestion. It's the law of the energy you now command. You are the conduit for a shift greater than your individual self, and the only way to lead this movement is to release all expectations. This isn't about surrendering to uncertainty. It's about transcending the limitations of certainty itself. The moment you strip yourself of the need to predict or dictate outcomes, you become a vessel through which unimaginable power flows. You've spent lifetimes wrapped in expectations, of yourself, of others, of the world around you. Every thought, every action weighed down by the need to shape the future into a form that aligns with your desires. But the time for that is gone. The energy of the old timeline is brittle now, crumbling beneath the weight of those who refuse to let go. You've already felt it, the resistance that builds when you cling to outcomes, the pressure that mounts when you expect others to meet you where you are. But when you release those expectations, something miraculous happens. The bound energy that has been held hostage by your need for control suddenly breaks free, flowing through you like a river bursting from a dam. This is what you are meant to experience: pure, unfiltered energy, unchained by your mind's narrow vision of what should be. When you stop demanding that things unfold in a certain way, you open the floodgates to a force that transcends your limited understanding. You become the embodiment of flow, of openness, of pure potential. In this state, the world bends around you, not because you force it, but because your very presence invites the impossible to become reality. And those around you will feel it. They will witness the ease with which you move through this world, unburdened by the constraints that bind them. They will see the miracles that unfold in your wake, not as acts of will, but as the natural consequence of living in alignment with the truth of energy. You are no longer weighed down by the heaviness of expectation. You are light, you are free, and through you, the old structures begin to crumble. The shift is happening because you allow it to, because you lead without the need to control. And in that freedom, you become the very force that breaks the chains of the old timeline, letting the bound energy flow through you, uncontained, unstoppable. You are stepping into a moment where the universe is finally giving back what was taken, stolen, or lost along the path. The energy that once seemed drained from you, the talents you believed were dulled, are roaring back with a force that defies logic. It's as though the universe has been holding these pieces of yourself, waiting for the precise moment when you were ready, and now they return to you. Not as they were, but magnified. Every gift you thought had slipped through your fingers now surges back, doubling in strength, waiting for you to wield it with renewed power. For too long you gave your time, your energy, your talents to those who could not reciprocate. You poured yourself into the world, offering your light while receiving only shadows in return. But that phase has ended. You are now stepping into the cycle of receiving. The tables are shifting, turning with the weight of universal balance. And now it is your turn to be recognized. The love, the admiration, the acknowledgement you've so often given without expecting anything back, now flows to you like a tidal wave, sweeping away any remnants of doubt that once lingered in your mind. You may notice opportunities you thought were closed reappearing, as if the doors you knocked on in vain are now being thrown open, inviting you in. Abilities you thought had faded, buried beneath the pressures of life, are returning to you stronger, clearer. What was once dormant inside of you is now awakening with the force of a storm. It's not just coming back. It's arriving in ways that feel almost supernatural, as if your gifts have been enhanced, sharpened by the very absence of their presence. This is the universe tipping the scales in your favor. The energy that you cast into the world, the talents you shared without hesitation, are coming back with compounded interest. Where once you were the one lifting others, now they look to you not only with gratitude, but with reverence. The tables have turned, and this is your time. This is the moment when you are no longer just the giver. You are the receiver, the one whose light is recognized, whose energy is acknowledged, whose gifts are returned in full. You are no longer chasing what was lost. It is finding its way back to you, and the power you hold now is more than you ever imagined. This is your time to rise. The veil of dismissal is lifting. The days of explaining yourself to those who refuse to understand are over. The energy around you has shifted. The resistance that once blocked your path is dissolving, and those who ignored your presence will now be drawn to it like moths to a flame. The winds have turned, and with them, so has the way the world receives you. Your inner work, the relentless transformation that felt like it would never bear fruit, is beginning to pay off in ways you can no longer deny. You've torn yourself open, faced every shadow, confronted every doubt, and now the universe mirrors that effort. What once felt like an endless uphill climb has transformed into a smoother path, paved by the recognition of those around you. People will begin to see you differently, not because you've changed, but because your light has burned through the illusions that once obscured their vision. The work you did in the dark is now blazing in the open. The obstacles that once seemed immovable are now bowing before you, making way for ease. The effort you once poured into being understood, accepted, validated is no longer required. You stand in your truth, and the world shifts to meet you there. The resistance you felt was never a reflection of your value. It was a test of your endurance, of your willingness to remain true to yourself despite the external noise. And now, because you held firm, the world bends. The whispers of doubt that once circled your mind are now drowned out by the sound of your success, by the recognition you've long deserved. Those who once overlooked you now turn to you for guidance. Those who doubted you now seek your wisdom. Your perseverance has broken the barriers between you and the ease you were always meant to experience. The internal battles you've fought have softened the edges of your reality, and as the weight lifts, you move through life with a new kind of grace. Reconciliation is upon you, not only with others, but with yourself. The struggle to prove who you are, to be seen for your worth, is behind you. Now, the world rises to meet the power and truth that you've always known lived within you. Everything you've been holding on to, every outdated belief, every limiting pattern, must now be released. The time for hesitation has passed, and the energy swirling around you demands that something old must fall away. This is not a request. It's a force that cannot be denied. You are the catalyst, the center of this upheaval, and the breakthrough you've sensed is now at hand. The walls that once kept you confined are crumbling, making way for a new reality where you no longer fit into the molds others tried to shape you into. You are not just part of this transformation. You are its driving force. Your presence alone disrupts the old ways, and your openness to change is what allows this powerful energy to flow through you. Trust in this. You were chosen because you can hold this space, because you understand that to lead this shift, you must first release what no longer serves. As everything around you recalibrates, you will find clarity, ease, and a sense of purpose that was once hidden behind the noise of resistance. Now is the time to share your truth, to speak the words that have been building within you. Your story, your experience, is part of the larger movement that is reshaping the world. You are not alone in this transformation. Others need to hear your voice, to see your truth reflected in their own. Share your journey, and in doing so, you become the mirror for those who are still searching for their place in this shift. Let your story be the spark that ignites theirs.